This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐻81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another Elden Ring video. Today we're going to talk about how to get the perfect stats at whatever level you are for whatever weapon you want to use. Let's get to it. So in this demonstration, I'm going to use this sword right here because it's a good one to use for an example, as it has 3 different stats at 3 different scaling points to show you. So we are going to select this weapon. It's going to tell me I'm unable basically to use it effectively, but we're going to go ahead and equip it anyway. Now you'll notice that this weapon is not leveled up. So the first thing we want to do is level it up as high as we possibly can. Now I'm later on in the game, I've unlocked the ability to buy all of the proper smithing stones for it. So I can just go over there and buy whatever I need to level it up. I highly recommend bringing whatever weapon you are using to almost the max or the max. So if it uses somber stones, you want to bring it to level 9 or 10. If it uses the normal smithing stones, you want to bring it to level 24 or 25. You're not going to see too much difference between those last 2 levels when it comes to how much attack power you're going to gain based on their scaling. Now that we have it all leveled up to level 9, I also want to mention that it is a good idea not to have anything else equipped weapon-wise that you are not trying to level 4. If you're trying to scale for 2 weapons, have both of those here in your first slots, and if you're trying to scale for 1, just have that one here in your main hand slot. The other thing I recommend is unequipping all talismans. This way you're not going to have anything interfere with the attack power that you are seeing, and you will be seeing its actual base attack power. After which you can play around with whatever talismans you got to try to boost the attack power further. Now the next thing we are going to do is head over here to the Grand Library. Now you will need to have beaten Queen Rennala in order to respec so that you can do this, because respecing is where we are going to do this at. So if you have not beaten her yet, you cannot do this. I prefer to do this in game. However, if you have not beaten her yet and you want to do this, or if you just want to play around with different things and you don't want to log into the game, there is a website that will allow you to do the same thing that we're doing here, and I will link it down below. I'm not responsible for any inaccuracies in that website, just want to put that out there. I use it, but I also verify all my results in game. Once you've made your way over here, before you go to respec, you are going to need an item in order to do that, and that is a larval tear. I'll link a video down below that will show you where you can find all of those. So if you don't already have one, make sure you go get one because you're going to need it to respec. So if we take a look here, our minimum requirements for equipping this thing, we are going to need 24 strength, 23 arcane, and 14 dexterity. Without each of these, we won't be able to equip it and use it properly, except for strength, because we can two-hand it with 12 strength and be able to use it, but we're not going to do that. We want the best stats possible. So we're going to make sure we have 24 strength, 14 dexterity, and 23 arcane so that we can equip it proper. So the next thing you're going to do is you are going to talk to her and you are going to initiate a rebirth. You're going to say yes. And now we're going to come over here and we're going to go 24 strength, 14 in dexterity, and 23 in arcane. And you'll see that the numbers here went from white to blue. So if we take this back down here, you can see right now they are white, indicating that we can't equip it properly. But as soon as we bring this up to 23, you can see that it pops up to being in the blue there, and its base attack power with just the base stats that you need to equip it for us will be 531. I do want to point out something that I've noticed about this, and that is you cannot have the proper stats here. So you can see if we go down to 13 dexterity, it's still in the blue, indicating that it's going up and we should be able to equip it, but we're still not going to be able to wield it properly. So make sure that before you do anything, you have the proper base stats in there and you are seeing the proper numbers, because if you do this, you can see here we have it at 13. We technically cannot equip it properly because we don't have the proper dexterity to equip it. If we start pumping points into strength, we're not gaining anything, and it's got a good scaling with strength. We should be gaining points. If we come down here and we start putting points into arcane, you can see that it starts going up, but that's kind of a false positive there. So now that we have all the proper base stats, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to test each of these to see which one gains us the most points. So we're going to put 1 point in strength. Okay, so that went from 31 to 34. That gave us 3 points for 1 point in strength. Let's test dexterity. We put 1 point in dexterity. We did not gain any points. Let's go one more. We gained 1 point. So dexterity is probably going to be a no-go. We're going to come down to arcane and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put 1 point in arcane. And you can see for arcane, putting 1 point in gained us 2 points. So we know that strength is giving us our highest gains for attack power, but it's not always going to do that. At some point, it's going to drop off. So we're going to put points into it until it starts to drop off. And it won't always give us the same amount. So if I put 1 point in it, we gained 3 points there. If I put another point in it, we only gained 2 points. I put another point in it, we gained 3 points. So that tells us that it's doing a 3-2 pattern. So we're going to keep our eye on that pattern. If you take a look here, we are at 585. If I go down 1, we go to 582. So we just lost 3 points. It's holding the pattern. If I go down 1 more, we lose 2 points. Go down 1 more, we lose 3 points. So let's go back up to 45. That puts us at 585. If I go up 1, I only gain 2 points. I go up 1, I only gain 2 points. So you can see that pattern of 3-2-3 has dropped off, and now we are only gaining 2 points at a time, and that is continuing to happen as we keep clicking to go up. So that's where our first soft cap is for strength on this weapon. So now these two are essentially equal. Dexterity, still not doing anything for us. You can see here, I got to put 2 points in before I gain 1 point. So we're going to take that back down to the minimum that we need. In this situation where you have two stats that are now scaling the same, you can essentially pick whichever one you want, but it's a good idea to pick which one is going to benefit you more. This doesn't have bleed on it naturally, so Arcane isn't really going to do us a whole lot of good to keep putting points in it. However, we could be running incantations or sorceries or have an offhand weapon that is also going to use Arcane that maybe has bleed on it. So then in that case, it would be good to put points into Arcane until you see that initial drop off, and it will drop off as well. And you can see that our sweet spot for Arcane is going to be 50. So we are at 639 right now at 48 points. I put a point in there, we gain 2 points. I put another point in there, we gain 2 points. Now that we are at 50, if I put a point in there, you can see it only goes up 1 point. Then I put another point in there, it goes up 2 points. Then I put another point in there, it goes up 1 point. So we've hit our first soft cap because now we've entered a pattern of going from 1 point, 2 point, 1 point, 2 point. If you want to level Arcane and you want to get it to its max efficiency for this sword and whatever else you got going on that you would want lots of Arcane for, that is where your peak efficiency is going to be for this sword. So right here is our first set of soft caps for both strength and arcane for this sword. So taking everything back to where we are even for arcane and strength, let's say you want to favor strength. So let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start pumping points into it and watching for that pattern to change. So at 57, our new pattern shows up, and I just want to point this one out because it shows you how wildly these can vary. So we are at 610 right now. If I put a point in it, we go to 611. So we gained 1 point. Now we're back to 2 points. Then we go back to 1 point, still 1 point, now 2 points, 2 points again. And that pattern continues until we get to level 81 in strength, and then we start losing out on points. So you can see here, I put a point in it, it didn't go up at all. I put another one in it, and it goes up 1. So at that point, you got such high diminishing returns past 81 that it's not even worth going past it. So if you want to maximize your weapons as much as possible, you want to look for the most efficient pattern when you are leveling up said weapon. So depending on our level and how many points you got to spend, we're going to pretend we're relatively low level, somewhere around 125, 130, something like that. Something like this is going to be your optimized points to be spent for that specific weapon to get the highest attack power possible. We've taken strength up to the point where we are in that long form pattern of having the ones woven throughout it, and leveled up arcane to a respectable 40, gaining 2 points every time. So we leveled strength until we stopped gaining 2 points every single time, and then we leveled arcane with the remainder of our points we had left to spend on attack power. Now we will want to take the rest of our points and distribute those throughout all of our other things like vigor, mind, and endurance to make sure that we have some type of sustainability and can attack with plenty of stamina and can take hits with plenty of vigor. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And you can do do this with any weapon at any time, and you don't actually have to commit to the respec. Once I was done there, I just hit Q on my keyboard. I don't know what it is for you controller users, but Q is my backout key to exit out of whatever menu I'm in, and you just cancel the rebirth. So you can go in there and test weapons and play around with different stuff without having to really commit to anything and see if that's a weapon you would even want to use in the first place. The only thing you really got to commit to is spending the runes to level up the weapon, because you don't want to try to do this with an unleveled weapon, because it's just going to be extremely inefficient and you're not going to get an accurate representation of what the weapon can truly be like. So that's pretty much it for this one. This is kind of just one of those short, sweet PSA videos. I feel like this is something that people don't know about. I'm sure there are some people that don't know about it, but I just felt like this one was a good one to get the information out there, because I've had people ask me about maximizing weapons in the comments section on Discord and stuff. So I thought it would be worth making a video for. If you found this video helpful and informational, consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to my supporters on Patreon for making this episode possible. Y'all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my Elite Crew Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.